So welcome to our Functional Fitness Grow with GoGo course or class. Before we get moving, just a quick reminder of what else GoGo offers. So in addition to these classes, you can access rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services, all by calling one number, and that phone number is 855-464-6872. We also have a referral program. So if you go to the bottom of your GoGo receipts online, you can give that code to a friend. And once they've taken their first service with GoGo, you will both receive $10 in credit. We also have a Facebook group. So if you ever want to continue any of our conversations online or just see what other people are doing with GoGo, you can find us on Facebook and we'll share a link in the chat. All right, and then to the meat of our program. If we haven't met, I'm Adra. I teach the yoga and the functional fitness classes here at GoGo on Wednesdays and Fridays. What do we need today? So for functional fitness, a chair is helpful to have. This class is mostly standing. So our yoga class is mostly seated, but our functional fitness class is mostly standing, but we do sometimes use the chair. I have a set of light weights with me, so I'd say 1 to 3 pounds. Or if you don't have that, you could grab some cans or water bottles, and that would be appropriate as well. Sometimes we use nothing at all, and that's totally fine. You can just use the weight of your arm or the weight of your body as you move instead of dumbbells. So that's an option. We also sometimes use a wall space. I give you lots of options. So sometimes if you don't have everything, that's okay. We'll make it work. Let me see. I see some stuff in the chat. Let me see if there's anything I need to. Oh, great. Arnold from Los Angeles. Welcome. So that's what we need. Does anybody remember our functional fitness move of the week? So if you're new, we have a move of the week that you have to hold on to for a couple of weeks because we do it only on Wednesdays. And we alternate yoga and functional fitness on Wednesdays. So does anybody remember? It was a repeat one.
Adra, this is Carol. Deadlift.
Yes. Oh, thank goodness.
I wrote it down.
Good, good.
I hope
Yes.
Bertha's okay. She hasn't been here lately.
Sorry?
I hope Bertha is okay. She hasn't been here lately.
I am here, Carol, and
Hey, Bertha.
I want to report that I just came from a wellness exam and my bone density has increased, and I attribute it to Adra's exercises.
Yes.
Woohoo! That's excellent. Awesome, Bertha. I'm so happy to hear that. Yay. That's right. I mean, if we exercise together twice a week, you're moving your body in new ways, and more muscle mass means more bone mass because our muscles pull on our bones. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
I'm making a pre-January 1st resolution to go to the video also on a third day.
But you're doing it on Mondays, right? You're doing
Yes, right.
Very good. Very good. Well, we'll keep checking in on that resolution. Awesome, awesome. All right. And then I'm also seeing we've got Kat from Las Vegas. Welcome. Awesome. Oh, it's so nice to hear all this from everyone. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And thank you, Carol, for getting the move of the week since we had to do that twice in a row because we couldn't remember. Let's get started. So my screen should be your nice and big one, but if it is not, you have to just adjust your settings. So you can move your cursor to the top right-hand corner of your Zoom screen and choose, there's a little box that'll pop up that says view, and you can change it to speaker view so that you see me nice and big. Or if you want to see everybody else, you can change it to gallery view. Oh, that was some nice news to start or it's my morning, so I know some of you it's more afternoon, but start our movement session with. Go ahead and find a standing position, all 10 toes, face forward. Let's just do a few shoulder rolls back, just getting ourselves settled, planting those feet. And let's do our shoulder rolls the other direction. So just a reminder that this is your time and your practice. So you are welcome to take breaks, modify, add things, make this work for your body. Go ahead and relax those shoulders. Inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, arms come back down. We'll do that a few times. Follow your own pace, your own breath. So everything that I say is purely a suggestion. You can do it, you can choose not to, you can modify it. You want to make sure that it feels safe, but also somewhat challenging. One more. And then arms release down. We're going to begin with some squats. No weight for now. You'll take your legs about as wide as the shoulders. Toes can point forward or slightly out. We'll inhale, bend the knees and reach those arms forward. And then exhale, straighten the legs and lower the arms. So inhale as we bend. And exhale as we straighten. Keep going. Follow your breath. You don't have to go super low, so you just move in a range that works for you. It's just the start of our practice, so being kind and gentle with your body. Now, we've talked about this before, but I'll repeat it. If we're doing a move that doesn't work for one body part, so let's say doing this is really hard on the knees, see if you can break it down and do another component of this. So let's say I can't bend my knees. I'm still flexing at the hips, so instead I could do some hinging. Or I could do the bending of the knees without weight, doing one leg forward and back. So just know that you can take any of the moves that we do and just take a part of it or get rid of gravity and the weight of the body. So you could do this sitting by just pushing one leg forward and back and then switching, or you can do some hinging of the hips and eliminate the knees completely. So know that you have options. Sometimes we really break down those options, and sometimes I just say it in passing like I have now. All right, let's come all the way up, shake it off. And then we're going to do some overhead work today. We're not going to grab our weights right away because I want us to think about our form for overhead reaching. So let's go ahead and reach both arms up towards the ceiling and notice how your body does that. So then bring the arms down and notice what is involved. What part of the spine, hips, neck, shoulders, what is involved to reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And then now I want you to try and reach those arms up towards the ceiling without moving anything but your shoulders and your arms. So by that, I mean, so right now I'm lifting my arms with just using my arms. I could lift my arms, I'll show you. So let's say I'll bring my arms out forward. I could lift my arms to the ceiling using my spine. I don't recommend doing this, but you see how here I'm doing a back bend. I'm really exaggerating it to reach my arms up towards the ceiling instead of using the arms. Sometimes there's a combination of that. So I want you to just a few times reach the arms up to the ceiling and bring the arms down without moving the spine, which might mean that your arms stop, only halfway there or part of the way there. That's okay. I want you to really honor whatever range of motion that you have. A way to check if you're cheating or using your spine is to stand against a wall. If you don't have a wall, don't worry about it. You can just keep practicing trying to be really honest with yourself if anything is moving. But if you do have a wall, you can bring your heels about an inch away from the wall so your pelvis or your hips or your glutes can find the wall, and then you're going to find your heart rate monitor height or bra line height against the wall. Your head might be touching or it might not. Then you're going to keep those points of contact with the wall as you reach the arms up. What you might find is that you can't reach the arms up without moving, especially that heart rate monitor height off of the wall. So that's a way to know if you're cheating or if you're using other parts aside from your shoulders. And why do we want to use just our shoulders and not our spine? Because our spine is made of lots of delicate little bones and small muscles. And so we want to use the bigger parts the bigger bones, the bigger muscles to move our body. All right, so we'll just do that one more time before we add weight. Okay, so you're welcome to continue just playing with reaching those arms overhead, or you'll go ahead and grab your weights and we're gonna do some overhead pressing. We're gonna keep this narrow. So hands come to the shoulders with your weights or without, or with your hands, and you'll push your arms up, but again, being really aware of whether you're moving your spine or not. And then rebending those elbows. So hands start by the shoulders, elbows are bent, then we straighten the arms towards the ceiling and bend. Now you're gonna keep doing that. Of course, you can do this without weight, maybe imagining that you're pushing something up towards the ceiling and then lowering it with control. If you're not sure if your spine is moving, go ahead and find that wall space if you have it. Press that heart rate monitor height and the hips against the wall. Heels are maybe an inch away from the wall as you push the arms up and down, making sure those points of contact don't come off of the wall. Right, and that's just an option, you don't have to do it, but it's a way to really make sure that you're working the shoulders and protecting the spine. If you have a shoulder injury, of course, you could just do this with one arm. You could do this with no weight. Just a few more. All right, and coming away from the wall if you're at the wall. We'll keep holding our weights and bring the weights by the chest if you have them. We're going into squats, just holding on to some weight now. So our feet go wider than the shoulders, toes can face forward or slightly out to the side. We bend the knees into our squat and straighten. We squat and lift. So at your own pace. If you want to add your breathing, it's inhale down, exhale up. Maybe one more. And coming down, shake it off. We're gonna put the weights to the side just for a moment. Reach the arms back behind you and interlace your fingers. And then reach those knuckles back. If you can't interlace, then you're just reaching your arms back behind you. We're just giving ourselves a little stretch in the front of the chest. And then releasing the arms. We're gonna go into a shoulder stretch before we repeat some of the things we've already done. So it's helpful to get behind your chair here. If you can't get behind your chair, you can find some wall space and place your hands about waist height, or you can find a table or a counter. Hands come to whatever support you have. You'll walk your feet back and create this upside down L position. Knees can be bent here if necessary, and your chest can be slightly lifted as necessary. So here we're finding that overhead, arms overhead position, but it's more passive, right? We're not having to work against gravity in the same way as when we're upright. So you're finding that stretch and finding that you have that ability to reach the arms overhead without changing the shape of the spine or without excessively moving the spine. So we'll hold for 3 more breaths. And then walk yourself back up. Whew. Shake it off. Let's grab those weights once again. All right, so elbows bend, hands start by the shoulders. We're doing these narrow overhead presses, arms push up towards the ceiling and back down. So again, if you're worried that you are moving your spine and not your shoulders, you can find that wall and put sort of that heart rate monitor part of your spine against the wall. So we're sort of thinking mid-back is against the wall. Because the low back will naturally be away from the wall, and that's totally fine. All right, and then keeping those weights come in front of your chest. You'll take your legs out for your squat. So legs are shoulder width or a little wider, toes point forward or slightly out. We bend the knees as you inhale, exhale, straighten. Keep going. All right. Putting those weights off to the side for a moment, shaking it off. Once again, we'll interlace those fingers behind the back. And then reaching those shoulder blades together. Knuckles can rest on your hips or reach back behind you. A few breaths. And release. All right, so we're going to now combine those two movements that we've just done. So that's the overhead press with the squat. So grabbing a hold of those weights. You can't be against the wall for this. Your feet will go wide, about as wide as the shoulders or slightly wider. Toes can point slightly out or forward. We start with our elbows bent by the shoulders and we bend the knees. On our exhale, we straighten everything up towards the ceiling. So arms reach up, knees straighten, and then we inhale, bend the elbows and bend the knees into our squat. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Keep going. I'm just going to show you a side view so you just have a different perspective. You won't be doing any more squats or overhead presses today. Or at least not with me. Couple more. Whew. All right, put those weights off to the side. Shake it off. I need to take my sweater off. All right. Let's do a couple shoulder rolls back. And a couple shoulder rolls forward. Okay, and letting those shoulders relax. We're gonna stand behind our chair or stand behind any support that you have. So you can have your hands on the wall or your hands on a table or counter. Just have something to hold on to because we'll be doing a little bit of balance related work. So once you have your hands on your support, we'll go into some heel raises. So balls of the feet or the front third of the feet will stay on the ground and then the heels will come up and back down. I'm going to take my socks off. That way you can see a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. Heels up and down. So just simple heel raises for now. Maybe noticing what your ankles are doing. So we often have a tendency to let the ankles splay out to the side and put the weight into the pinky toe side of the foot or the outer edge of the foot. And I want you to avoid that. We want to imagine that you're holding something between your ankles or between your inner legs so that the heels don't splay out to the side and the weight is balanced or slightly more weight towards the inner part or the big toe side of the foot. All right, let's bring those heels down, take a little break. We'll go into a calf stretch. Step your right leg back behind you, anywhere from 1 to 3 feet back, just depends on the length of your legs. That right heel stays on the ground, or that back heel stays down as you bend into your front knee. So we have a straight back leg, a bent front knee, both feet are flat on the ground. We're looking for a stretch at the calf of that back leg. You might feel it even lower towards the Achilles as well. Let's step that right foot forward and we'll switch sides. Left leg stretches back, anywhere from 1 to 3 feet back. Bend the front knee, back leg is straight. Both feet are flat on the ground, so the heels are pushing into the earth. All right, let's step that back foot forward, taking your feet next to each other once again. All 10 toes face forward. Feet are, a couple of inches apart. Mine are about 5 inches apart, but you can play around with what works for you. We're now going to keep both feet flat on the ground and just do a few knee bends or plies. So it's not the same as a squat. So when we squat, the hips go back, right? So we're not doing that. We're keeping that head right over the pelvis and we're just bending the knees. So the torso stays upright. It's almost like you're balancing something on your head and you don't want it to fall. We're just gonna bend and straighten a few times. Well, this shouldn't feel too bad, but you might feel some tension in certain places because you're not used to moving in this way, where you keep the head over the hips. So it's okay here for the knees to go forward right over the toes, as long as that's not painful. Okay, so now we're going to combine having our heels up and the knee bend. If you think, oh my God, that is crazy, then you stick with our plies or the heel raises. So you can either do one of those instead. If you'd like to try this, we go into our heel raise. You can keep it small, so heels off the ground, and then we bend the knees and straighten the knees. We bend and straighten. So we're doing that same plie motion, but our heels are off the ground. It can be really tiny. So you can see that my knee bends are not that deep. I'm just getting a sense of that motion, feeling that change, that work in the legs, just different. That's not good for you. Heels stay down. All right, and then go ahead and lower those heels down, straighten out those legs, shake it off. Okay, so you're welcome to repeat any of those 3 things we've just done. So heel raises, plies, or those knee bends with the heels lifted. I'm going to teach you something new. If it's not for you, don't do it. We'll bend the knees, so we'll start in our slight plie position. We're going to try and maintain that bend in the knees. And then we lift the heels and lower the heels. So it's heel raises with bent knees. So the knee bend does not change. That's where a lot of people will get mixed up as they start to straighten the legs. The knees stay slightly bent the whole time, and you're just lifting and lowering the heels. The heels do not need to lift very high. It's just a little bit and then back down. If this isn't for you, go back to any of the other variations. The simplest being either the plie or the heel raises with straight legs. Just a few more. Really feeling probably some burn in your ankles, in your calves, and in your feet. All right, and then heels down, straighten out the legs, shake it off. Let's go into that calf stretch once again. So left foot can stay where it is, right foot steps back 1 to 3 feet back behind you, bend the front knee. Back heel pushes into the ground. So we have a straight back leg and a bent front knee, both feet are flat on the ground. Step forward, we'll switch sides. So other leg steps back, front knee bends, back leg is straight, both feet flat on the ground. All right, and we'll step forward, shake it off. Go ahead and grab your weights if you'd like. We're gonna go into some side lunges. So we'll take the feet nice and wide now. So wider than when we were doing squats. We're taking our feet wider than the shoulders. Toes are going to point just slightly out. Weights are in front of the chest if you want them. If you don't want the weights, get rid of them, no problem. We bend one knee, hips go back. You can let your torso lean forward. Try and get more weight into the heel and then straighten the leg. And we switch sides. We bend the other knee, hips go back and push into the heel to rise. I'll show you a side view as well. You don't need to move. So it's like we're doing a squat, but it's just one leg that's doing that squat motion. The other leg is straight. It's fine for the torso to come forward as you do these. We're gonna keep going, couple more. You can make these smaller too, right? It doesn't need to be a very deep bend if that does not work for your body. Let's do about one more each side. Great, and releasing those arms, shake out those legs. We'll hold on to one weight. Let's take that weight into the right hand. And we'll reach that right arm up towards the ceiling. So we've done a lot of overhead, so we can try and find that same really nice form where you're reaching that arm up by using your arm and not your spine. So let me just adjust the video so you can see my entire arm and not lose my hand at the top. So arm goes all the way up towards the ceiling. You can use your other hand, your left hand, to support your upper arm to prevent it from moving. We're doing some tricep motion. So we're going to bend that right elbow, bringing that right hand by the shoulder or the back of the shoulder, and then straighten the arm. So you'll keep going here, some tricep extensions. We're doing just one arm at a time. That way you can really focus on your form. So we're trying not to let that elbow droop forward. So this is not what we're doing, unless that's the range of your shoulder. We're also trying not to let the spine get involved. So it helps me sometimes to put my hands on my ribs to prevent my ribs from popping forward. Because if my ribs pop forward, I know that I'm suddenly getting into my spine instead of really moving my arm. All right. Bring that arm down and we'll switch sides. So pushing the weight or moving the weight to the other arm up towards the ceiling. You're going to support the arm if you want, or you can have your hands on your ribs. We bend and straighten the other arm. All right, one more. I'm bringing the arm down. Give your arms a little break. We're going back to those side lunges. So if you'd like, you can grab both of your weights for this. You don't have to. Hands come by the chest if you're holding onto those weights. Legs go wide, wider than the hips, wider than the shoulders. Toes can point slightly out if you'd like. We bend one knee, hips go back, one leg is straight, and then we come back up. Inhale as you bend, and exhale as you straighten. Keep going, follow your breath. Being kind to your body here, being free to take breaks as needed. Moving in a range that works for you. Let's do about one more each side. All right, and then coming up, relaxing the arms, bring those legs back towards each other, shake it off. So we're going to do those tricep extensions one more time. So holding on to one weight, whichever one you'd like. I'm gonna start with my right arm again, but you can decide which arm you start with. Try not to move your spine as you reach the arm up towards the ceiling, so the ribs stay relaxed. Elbow points forward as you bend the elbow. Hand goes towards your shoulder, the back of the shoulder, and then straighten. So what we're not doing is this. The elbow doesn't wing out to the side. We're trying to keep that elbow nice and narrow. Keep going. Great. Let's do maybe one or two more. And then we'll switch arms. Weight goes into the other hand. Reach it up towards the ceiling. Bending the elbow and straightening. Again, watching that that elbow doesn't splay out to the side as best you can. Nice smooth breath. Maybe one or two more. And then putting that weight off to the side. Shaking out those arms. We'll do a quick neck stretch here. So I'll mirror you. Let's bring that right ear towards the right shoulder. Get a little side stretch of the neck. Really gentle here. So it's not that the shoulder is going up towards the ear. It's that the ear is moving towards the shoulder. I do not expect it to touch the shoulder. And then switching sides. Other ear towards the shoulder. And we'll do that one more time each side. Right ear towards the right shoulder. Left ear towards the left shoulder. And back up. Great. Let's move into a little bit of balance work today. So let's start with taking our feet together. So taking the feet together, so feet are touching, which I'll face you. Feet are touching, you're holding onto your support. So you can hold onto it in front of you or next to you. Feet are touching, holding onto the support. If you are comfortable standing with your feet together or as close together as possible, right? Just depending on your anatomy, your feet might be slightly separated, but feet as close together as possible. See if you can balance that way without holding on. If that feels safe, and only if that feels safe, do you try this with your eyes closed. So then closing the eyes. And then noticing those micro movements your body makes as you're standing still. There's always this slight motion or movement in your stillness. So even though I would say, or I'd consider the fact that we are standing still, I'd say we are standing still, you probably can sense a little bit of movement, your body always making these slight micro shifts to maintain this upright posture. So just noticing if you can sense that. All right, and then opening the eyes if your eyes are closed. Let's bring the hands back to the chair. I'm going to face the chair because I'm going to suggest that you have both hands on. You could do this with just one hand if you're comfortable with it. And we'll bring our right foot forward in front of us so the foot is off the ground. So we're standing on our left leg, right foot comes forward and the foot is off the ground. Have it so that those right toes can pop down to the earth at any point. All right, so just be ready to step down if you need to. It's totally fine to wobble and lose your balance as long as you can safely lose your balance. If you don't feel safe, then that's where you know you need to do less. So this is option one. We stand on the left foot, we float the right foot off the ground in front of us, and we're holding on. Option two, we're going to let go of the chair. If at any point you need to, you grab a hold of the chair once again. Option three, you're moving your head side to side, like you're shaking your head no. That makes it a lot harder. So the motion of the head and the movement of the eyes makes this really challenging. And so if that shaking of the head no either makes you dizzy or doesn't feel safe, then go back to just balancing either with your hands on or off without moving the head. Right, we want to have lots of different options for all of our different levels, and every day is different. So some days this will be really hard and some days this will feel achievable. All right, let's switch sides. So lower the foot, shake it off, and we'll switch. So right foot is now standing, left foot comes in front of us, lifting those left toes off the ground, knowing that you can always bring those left toes down for balance, holding onto the chair to begin. First, seeing if you can find your balance there. Maybe you keep holding on with both hands, maybe you hold on with one hand or no hands. Feeling free to grab a hold at any point or toes come down at any point. If you need a little bit more, then you can add some head motion, turning the head right and left, like you're shaking your head no, nice and slowly. If that is too much, then go back to one of the other variations. Coming back to center, hands down, foot down, shake it off. Just a few more balance exercises before we wrap things up. Let's take those feet close together. They might touch or they might be a few inches apart, whatever feels more comfortable. We're moving into our heel raise. So we're going into our tippy toes, onto our tippy toes. You decide how high you go. You don't need to go ultra high. You don't need to go to your max height. Just going into your tippy toes a little bit, really planting those feet down. And then see if you can start to find some balance here. So maybe you're still holding on with both hands. Maybe you're holding on with just one hand. Or maybe you're holding on with one or two fingers. Or maybe you're not holding on at all. So seeing if you can find some balance standing on those tippy toes. And it's up to you how high you go. Heels can always come down. You can always grab a hold of your support once again. Couple more breaths. Feet come down. Shake it off. We're going to do that one more time. Feel free to play with where your feet are. So we had our feet pretty close together for this last one. If you want something different, maybe you turn your toes out or take your feet a little wider. So just do something different if you want. So I'm going to go with my legs wider just for variety's sake. So finding that tippy toe position, whether your feet are together, turned out, or slightly wide. Lifting those heels up. And again, it's up to you. You can go really high. You could just be hovering above the earth. Whatever feels doable for you, right? What is achievable, what is safe, but also slightly challenging. Feel free to continue holding on to your support. Or maybe you hold on with just one hand. Or maybe you hold on with a finger or two, just a few fingers for balance. Maybe you hold on with nothing at all. Doesn't matter. Challenge yourself a little bit. It's fine to fall out of the pose as long as you can safely fall out of it. And safety is the most important. But it's okay to challenge yourself and feel as though you're not able to fully do the pose, but at least you're pushing yourself to be challenged and to do something hard so that you can get stronger and better. All right, hands come back to your support, heels come down, shake it off. Step away from your support so you have a little bit of space. We'll inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Really reach tall, find as much height as you can. And then exhale, lower the arms back down. Inhale, arms circle out and up, taking up space. Exhale, arms come down. Last time, we'll keep those arms up. Inhale, arms circle out and up, keep them up. Palms touch, hands lower towards your chest. Give yourself a round. Awesome work, everybody. Really fun working out with you and getting to watch you all challenge yourselves. We have a couple minutes now. If anybody has questions about our class, so our functional fitness or our yoga class, if you have questions about GoGo, the best thing to do is to reach out directly to GoGo. Oh, I see Catherine had to leave early, but no problem. Yeah, if anyone needs to leave early in class at any point, that's totally fine. You don't even need to tell me. I mean, I always like to know, but know that that's absolutely allowed. All right, so the floor is yours if anyone has questions. Also, if you want to see everybody else, you can change your view at the top right-hand corner to gallery view, and then you can see other people's videos instead of just me, and that can be really nice.
Adra, this is Carol. I'm going to get personal here. One of these days, you need to introduce us to your husband. He usually walks across the room at least once a class, but I haven't seen him today.
Yes, you are right. He usually does walk across once a class. Yeah, we'll have to catch him when he's walking across either right at the start of class or right at the end of class, and I'll make him come say hi. It's because he works from home, so he works in the room
I assume
behind
so.
there. Yeah.
Do we have a move of the day?
Oh my gosh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. I'm glad you all keep me accountable. Yes, we did a lot of these today. Heel raises. So I'll just show them in case anybody missed them. Probably can't see my feet. Let me lower this a little. So heel raises are a move. So anytime you're bored and standing at the counter or standing up by something, hold on, and we just do some heel raises. You could also do it without holding on, but I'd suggest that maybe this is like a kitchen activity where you're in the kitchen waiting for something in the microwave, hold on to the counter, do a few heel raises. Thank you, Carol. Otherwise, I would have just forgotten, and then next Functional Fitness Wednesday, I'd be stumped. So I'm gonna write that down. Recommend you write it down too and try and do it. So heel raises are Wednesday functional fitness move. And I see a question. Yeah, recorded class. So the question is, are the classes available online? So the recordings are available online. You can find them on our YouTube channel, and V will put it in the chat, but you also get the YouTube channel link in the invites. This class will take a few weeks to show up, but all of the previous classes will be online.
Hey, this is Carol again. Do you remember what date you started these classes? It's been less than a year, correct?
Ooh, I think so. It's a little bit tricky because it's definitely been over a year when I did my first class, but we did like a trial class. It might have been 2022, but we just did one.
Okay.
And then consistently, it's been about a year. It's been a little, I think it's actually been a little over a year consistently because I think it's been well, it's been somewhere around a year. V might know the answer to that. I'm not sure, but it's been, I think, about a year that it's been consistent once a week, and then 9 months, maybe consistent twice a week. No, less than that.
Yeah, I would say 4 months for twice a week.
Yeah, maybe it's 4 months for twice a week, but the once a week's been going for a while.
I was just trying to figure out how many were on YouTube
Ah,
because, I'll scroll down to see earlier classes,
uh-huh.
and I was finding them up until last winter, but I didn't see any over a year ago.
So maybe, yeah, maybe that's right. And V said she doesn't know yet, but she'll look and let us know next class if we remember to ask about that. But yeah,
I'm just stretching your minds today.
but YouTube is it's probably correct. Um, minus the one class that we did way many years, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Just to see
Thank
if
you.
people liked it. Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? I'm putting my socks on. It's chilly. I'm seeing people wave. That's fine. Yeah, you can pop off, no problem. This time is just to chit chat if you want.
Adra, I visited your website and it's very lovely.
Oh, thanks, Bertha. Yeah, the one that's Adra Ho. I have a couple websites, I think.
Yes,
Although-
I saw. I went window shopping.
Yeah, the first website, it's probably going to disappear soon. There's one that's just occupational therapy only, and then there's the one that's under my name, Adra Ho. But one of them is quite old. The Adra Ho one is slightly more recent. Great to have you as always. Functional fitness move is heel raises, so hopefully I see you remembering that and do some heel raises over the next few weeks. Hopefully
I will do my heel raises during my telemarking skiing, only one heel at a time, I guess. But they call it the skis, they call them heelys, or
yeah.
that type of thing. And of course, that the newest generation of that was those shoes where you had the rollers, like the roller skate wheels in the back, where you could do that. But that's an opposite. If you raise the back of instead of raising the front, you're raising the back, your heel, and you're raising your toes off and committing your heel in that movement. Is that an opposite movement, Adrian?
Yeah, it is. It's the opposite motion. Yeah, absolutely. And that's valuable too. That just works the top of the ankle, top of the foot versus heel raises work the back of the ankle, back of the foot. So yeah, I'll just show it really quick. Going this way, I think it's really hard, but it really works this part of the foot. So totally reasonable opposite movement.
Well, I spend a lot of time waiting on buses, so I'm oftentimes at the curb, And so I'll do that on the curb too, where you put your heel on the edge and, or, your toes and then try to raise up or either whichever way, it's like you said, maybe you always have to have something going on, it's like if you're waiting for the microwave, you've got something, you're not reading a book or reading the checkout line in Express, the magazines or something, you're doing heel lifts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome. And I actually love that you're using the curb too, as long as you feel steady, because the curb lets you move through a larger range of motion.
Right. Well, there's usually, like the sign that says the bus stop, it's within about 2 feet or so of the curb, so you could stand there and hold on to that, or there's other places besides that curb to do the stuff, but just the idea that you've got, there's usually there's a little a building, a kiosk, thing for you to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
stand and wait sometimes, or there's a park bench type of thing. We have multiple things here in Norman. So anyway, uh, I like the idea of always thinking about, and then it's cumulative because you don't have to do 30 minutes of something. You can do something here or there, and then you're not gonna over exercise. It's not like all I do is the heel thing because it's the deal. There might be something else. It's just that once you get into public, people are looking at you like, why is this crazy guy, twisting his head or rolling his shoulders or doing squat thrust, out in public, it's like, well, why not? People, we need to exercise. We're all obese. So, all right. Sorry, Agent.
No, don't
Because
be.
we are
Thanks for
having something
sharing.
Friday, right? I came in late because of my other previous commitment Zoom class. So I missed out on a bunch of the stuff. So,
That's
but I have an
okay.
idea of whatever, but I just making sure if you mention anything about Friday, that I think my email said there is a class on Friday.
Yep, class on Friday. We haven't figured out what we're doing, or we haven't discussed the holiday schedule, but Friday for sure there is class, and there should be
Okay,
class the following week. So,
well, I noticed, that V and you guys have put out a calendar, and so, whether or not that was just I think they showed the month of December, and they included different things. I was hoping that, whether or not if it turned out Wednesday was Christmas or something.
yeah, there is a Wednesday on
Because
Christmas. So
Gabe is going to be doing a class on that day.
we're not doing
Oh,
class
I
on the
know, I
25th.
know.
There's definitely not class on the 25th, because I'm not going to be here. Well, I mean, I'll be here, but I'll be with my family. So,
Excellent, excellent.
um, thank you. Thanks for sharing, Ross. And I love that you incorporate exercises throughout the day. Margaret, thanks for your note here. Um, and all right, everybody, I'll let you go. I'll see you Friday or the following week. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Do your heel raises, and I'll see you next time.